Hello guys, it's John Maston here. We have a Bottleman unboxing. This time we have Royal Gryphon DX. So this is an interesting thing here. So this is quite the sets. I am very excited to talk about this. I've been waiting for this thing for months, ever since the leak from like July. I've been excited about this thing because it is based on at least a similar idea to Triple Delusion from Crossfight Beat'em, which I always liked a lot. But yeah, here's... oh, these are actually colored instructions. Interesting. Also have the sticker sheet, definitely more extensive than the other ones. It makes sense. This is for 2 Bottlemen, which confuse. So you have to, you get the 2 and the fusion, and you gotta make up for all that. So a lot of stickers. Very nicely packed here. Just like the DX set. This was, that was also very nicely packed. So I guess we'll start going over everything here. And yeah, okay, so let me zoom in. So they actually give you a ton of caps. Okay. I was not expecting this. So you get the 2 caps for the head, and then you have like 6 extra caps. Was not expecting this, but sure. Here is 1 core. I believe this is for our Greno DX. The control type. We have the other core for Milkaiser DX, the speed type. The armor of our, not our, Milkaiser DX. Armor for the our Greno DX. Couple extra pieces. I think these might just be for the Royal Gryphon DX Fusion. Well, yes, you'd put them on the, other 2, but still. And lastly, our accessories, the long barrel and long magazine. So, a lot of stuff to put together here, a lot to do. I'm going to go ahead and actually go and, well, build these, sticker them up, do some testing. I will say the testing on this will be maybe not as extensive for certain things, because I feel like there's a lot to do with this stuff, and the fusion, I think, isn't going to really be figured out for a while to how, great it is. I will make a video on the fusion eventually to kind of go over it. But anyway, let's just get into the actual review portion for this video. Maybe it'll go better than I expect, so, yeah, we'll see. Alright, so I have everything out of the box, put together, stickered up. This is going to be a long video, I can already tell, but, let's get into the first Bottleman here, which is our Greno DX. So, here it is. It looks strange. This is gigantic. So, yeah, you could just tell this thing... So, you gotta kind of get the idea of what this thing's supposed to do, but yeah. Kind of ridiculous, honestly. And yeah, it's basically a right-handed control type, which... again, I'll go more into in a bit, but, yeah. Also, you do get a barrel for this thing. I will put this on in a little bit to show off, but you do get a long barrel in this set. Also, we have Milkaiser DX, our speed type, the left-handed Bottleman in the set. Looks like this. This arm here, my god. I don't even know how to describe what this even looks like here. It looks like the main antagonist. I don't know, it just looks like such like a mess of just, I don't want to say like bionic parts, because it's not, but like, I don't know, it just kind of gives me that kind of vibe, like something you'd see like in an older anime or something, like the main antagonist of like Serial Experiments Lane or something, just like with this ridiculous, like robotic looking mess. I don't know why it gives me that vibe, it just does, but anyway, yeah, this is meant to be a left-handed speed type. It's like kind of an awkward grip, but again, I'm going to get into that in a moment, but yeah. Yeah, left-handed speed type. One-handed, so nice. You also get a long magazine in here. Very, very cool. Also, there are 4 extra caps. That goes well with the long magazine. So anyway, these 2 just kind of in their base forms. Actually, before, let me just go ahead and attach all the attachments, and then I'll show off those. Then we'll talk about these two. Alright, I guess I didn't need to cut the video. That was like 5 seconds. But anyway, here's our Greno DX with the attachment, the barrel here, which, yeah, works well. I mean, it's a nice barrel. It's gold. That's cool. It is in the tall mode, of course. I might have already said that, but yeah, anyway. We also have a Milkaiser DX with the long magazine, which I should probably zoom out for, but yeah, it's got the long magazine going. So there you go. You got the one-handed grip with the long magazine. This thing's ridiculous. Anyway, let's just talk about these two. So how good are they, or bad, or whatever? So first up, without taking into account their oddities, I guess you could say, our Greno DX has the same problem as like every control, well, not every control type, but the hold parts just suck. Control type hold parts suck. It shows here. It's, I would say, not as bad as Guardian 1 DX. It's like the same as Earth Roller DX, but I prefer this thing a little bit. I think the grip on this one works a little better. You got a barrel too. I think it's a bit nicer. It's still not as good as Aerosider DX, the only like actually functional control type in my opinion. Milkaiser DX, so it's actually decent. Like, I think it's a pretty decent speed type. It's no Doc Pepion DX, but I'd probably say if you don't have Doc Pepion DX, this is probably the best alternative because it comes with a long magazine, and having that with it, it's a pretty big deal, I would say. So I think, you know, it's pretty good overall. And again, if you don't have Doc Pepion DX, this is probably your best bet. So in that regard, one is mediocre, the other is actually pretty good. But we gotta talk about these grips. So let's start off with you. You are the more functional of the two here. This grip is decent. Is it awkward as hell? Yes. But can it work? Also yes. Honestly, just hold it with like 2 hands or something. Or hold like this kind of part up here to help kind of guide you. It doesn't work that well. It's too awkward in my opinion to actually work well. And then there's this thing, this grip. Okay, I don't know what happened here. Again, you cannot hold it like this. I feel like you kind of gotta hold something up here, and it works fine enough. But like, I feel like these parts for both of them feel like they just want to fall off constantly. And when your one-handed grip wants to fall apart, and this thing doesn't like to stand up well either, but when your one-handed grip wants to fall off, it just doesn't feel good to shoot. These two don't feel great in general. I mean, you can use them, but honestly, like, if you want to use the whole one-handed grip thing, I don't recommend it. I just swap out the arms or something. They just don't work very well in my opinion, but yeah, no, they're not. They're just not great. I don't know what else to say about it. They just don't feel good. They're too awkward. And even if you get past that awkwardness, like I was really trying to, they just don't, like, they feel like they want to fall apart, and they have a couple times on me too. I think this set was definitely made for Royal Gryphon DX. These two are definitely afterthoughts, and they feel like afterthoughts. I can't hate on them too much because, again, they were definitely meant to just be components of Royal Gryphon DX, but they just want that extra functionality. So overall, these two, they're kind of just annoying, but kind of, like, fine, and also Milkaiser DX is, like, actually kind of decent. But you might want to swap out the arms because of the issues I said. Also, again, you kind of are restricted to a certain hand if you want to use those grips, because, you know, this is right-handed, this is left-handed. Luckily, I'm fine with both, but I do still prefer my left hand, so this one is a little bit better for me than this one. But yeah, that's kind of how they work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video to just get into Royal Gryphon DX and the, what these two basically transform into. I guess let me know if you guys want me to make a whole video on the transformation sequence and how that works. I actually have yet to attempt it. I am basically making this part of the video, transforming it, testing out all that stuff, and then coming back later, but let me know if you want a proper video on that, if you need help. The instructions are pretty detailed, though. I think it's fine, but yeah, I guess let me know. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get into that now, so, yeah. Alright, so everything all put together. This is I'm gonna say this was kind of a scuffed, transformation. But, I mean, it worked, so, like, I don't know what else to say. This was, an experience to transform, though. So, here it is. This is Royal Gryphon DX. So, yeah, you got the 3 shots, you got the 2 on the sides, the vertical shot. This is just something. I don't even know what to say about it. You got the back here with the giant, just trigger mess. And then here's the other side, and back to the front. This thing is interesting. So first up, I do think this has a bit of a, well, at least mine does, a quality control issue. I don't know if this is universal, so I'm not going to hold it against the product. These front feet here, they do not stay on well at all. I'm genuinely surprised I was able to rotate the thing without them falling off. If you're shooting, they fall off pretty easily. Hopefully that's just mine, because if that's a general issue, that's just so unfortunate for such an interesting set to have, like, a really dumb issue like that that's going to be a problem. Hopefully it's just mine, and if it is, I don't care, because this set I'm going to be keeping the 2 separate Bottlemen, our Greno DX and Milkaiser DX. And then I'm getting a second set next month where I'm going to be having the Royal Gryphon DX Fusion. So hopefully that one's better, and it's not a general issue with it. But yeah. Overall, this thing, it looks insane. Like, I don't even know what to say about the thing. It's crazy. So I did mess around with this thing for like an hour. So you get 3 shots, or well, 3 caps per shot, I should say. None of the shots are particularly crazy or anything. It's not, like, insane. But it's the fact that you get 3 shots, and they're a lot closer together because, you know, you have the 2 here, but then you have the vertical shot. So it's not as spread out. They're a little bit more concentrated because you get that 1 vertical shot. And yeah. Aside from the feet, everything works pretty well. I did have this arm fall off over here, and this cap doesn't like to stay on either as well. So there are some jank things about this set, but again, that might just be mine. I don't know. Hopefully this isn't a general issue. It wasn't like that bad. Again, I was messing with this thing for like an hour. It only happened like a couple times, but hopefully it's not a general issue where I was just doing something wrong. I'm not holding that against the set though. But outside of that, this thing is just fun. It's not as good as you might expect, because while it is crazy, the fact that you have to load 3 individual Bottlemen every time, you can't, like, with Gryphon DX, you could at least, like, take 2 caps in your hand and throw both of them in. This one, you have to load 3 individually to shoot the crazy shot, but it's a crazy shot, but again, just that reload time, it definitely, I think, balances out a little bit more. And, of course, this is not even its final form, because there is more to this thing. Let me go adjust that, and I'll show you that. So, yeah. Alright. Let's show this thing off. So this is effectively the final form of Royal Gryphon DX. The barrel, the magazine. This is just stupid, honestly. I don't recommend using it exactly like this. But I'll get into that in a moment. I'm not going to show all the other stuff with the other set, but I will kind of explain how this can work and what you can do with this thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and pick this up, do a quick rotation of making this thing even more of a monstrosity. The feet fell off. Okay, I'll fix that in a second. Just making this thing even more of a monstrosity than it already was. So yeah, check that out. And there they already, okay. Just stay there. So overall, this Royal Gryphon DX, again, like I already said, it's a lot of fun. But I think it's like balanced well enough. But what starts to get a little bit stupid is when you add on these attachments. The barrels are fine. Magazines, that's a little bit more questionable. But I guess the reload time is pretty punishable. So like, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you want to view it. But anyway. So what you could do, and you can use any core here, so I'm pretty sure you use like all power cores or something, or any other speed core, any control cores. You can basically just use these armor pieces and use whatever cores you want, which is interesting. I think... Oh wait, no, never mind. I think the only one you can't use would probably be Raid Brave DX, and then also Kerpeps DX, or at least not the trigger, but then you don't get the double shot, so it's, I mean, why use it anyway, right? But basically, if you have the DX customized set, you have that extra core. So what you could do is, you have that extra control core, swap out this core for that, and then you could take that barrel. You have a double barrel using that extra core, or you could have the control custom Kolomaru DX, then Ayawashi DX's core is left out. You do need to swap out the triggers, though, for these ones. They are specific for these, like, extra parts back here. But, yeah, if you then have, like, the Ayawashi DX core just kind of left over, that speed core, swap out this core for that, you got the double long magazines. That's where it gets a little bit more contentious, because it's like, okay, you got 5 shots per magazine. While you only get the 1 initial middle shot, you'll have 4 more double shots. That gets a little bit stupid, but like, I guess, I don't know, that might be a little more contentious to whether or not that's just unfair, but whatever. I mean, this thing's just fun, and I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be. But yeah, you could just mess around with this thing, have a lot of different customization options, try different cores. Also, one thing worth noting, you do get the 6 caps in here, but in this fusion, you actually are a cap short in the magazine. You could grab any other cap and put it in there, it's not that big of a deal, but just worth mentioning that you are 1 cap short in the magazine capacity because you need the extra one for this guy in the middle. But yeah, this is the weirdest Bottleman. It takes after Triple Delusion from Crossfight Beatamon, like I said at the start of this video, and yeah, it's just kind of a set of just 2 very weird Bottleman that you can basically deconstruct and fuse into 3, which sounds like it shouldn't make sense, but it does. This thing pulls it off. So overall, do I recommend this set? Honestly, yes. If nothing else, you get a long magazine, and like if you don't have Dakaipian DX or the previous set, I mean, there you go. This is a pretty solid speed type. But if you already have that, then it's a little bit more up in the air. Would I recommend this? Maybe not entirely, because I don't think anything here is like crazy. The fusion's crazy, but I don't know if this is even supposed to be like legal or not. I think that's up in the air. But I guess, again, this is just like a for fun thing. I don't think there's like competitive Bottleman stuff really. I don't think people care too much. There isn't really a big market for that, for what I've seen. So, in that regard, for the fun factor, yes, I recommend this thing heavily. having a Bottleman that can just shoot 3 caps and customizes with other stuff, other cores, you have double magazines if you want. It's just fun to mess around with and just, yeah, like for fun, yes. Recommend this thing a lot. So, yeah. This thing's just an interesting Bottleman. I had to just talk about it quite a bit, and I'm glad I got to unbox this pretty quickly. There's going to be multiple other videos in the future relating to this thing, so I will have, well, I guess there's the DX ranking video that I will put up. The DX ranking video. That's going to be when DX is over, though, but that video I will talk about our Greno DX and Milkaiser DX. And then I will leave out Royal Gryphon DX of the ranking, but shortly after I will do a follow-up video where I talk about Royal Gryphon DX and its effectiveness and, get into all that. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. I don't know when that's going to be, though, because we don't know when DX is ending, but hopefully, I mean, well, I don't mind if DX goes on a long time, but hopefully like a month or two after DX ends, because I do want to give time to fully use every Bottleman and figure them all out, make sure I have a good ranking, and make sure I know what I'm talking about with this thing, even more than I do now, because I've only tested it for like an hour, but yeah. Anyway, that's all for this video. This thing is just weird. I'll talk more about it in the future when I have more information, because I don't want this to be waiting like months for this video or weeks just because I don't know what I'm talking about fully yet, but I think I did well enough here. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.